Nancy had an accident, and it looks like she'll be hospitalized for about a month because of rehab. So they'll be taking $10,000 for her medical expenses and all that.
Laura, that money was saved for the business expenses. It really messes things up if you use it without asking.
Is there a problem? Even if we're not blood related, we're still family, right? It's terrible that you won't help.
It's only at times like these that she plays the family card. But maybe it's inevitable if Nancy is injured. Just as I was telling myself this, a life-changing phone call came in. My name is Maria. I run our family farm. Since my brother took over as my successor, I've been working at another company. Even so, I take time off to help out when it's busy. My company allows remote work, so I can move around quite freely. They've agreed to let me help at home if anything comes up, which has been a great help. So I make a decent living, and I don't have to worry about money. I married Ken when I was 25. He is such a kind personality, and I was naturally drawn to him. I thought his parents must be gentle people too. But they were the complete opposite. By the time I met Ken, his father had already passed away. So, it's just his mom and his sister now, living together. Ken seems unable to stand up to them. Ever since we got married, they've been coming over to check on us quite often. At first, I thought they cared about us, but that wasn't the case.
Maria, what's for dinner today?
I was thinking of making vegetable soup since we had hamburgers and heavy meals yesterday.
That won't do. Ken's still growing. He needs to eat more meat.
Well, he's already 35. It's about time to start thinking about his health before he gets sick. While we were talking, Nancy headed to the kitchen.
Mom, this is it. Vegetable soup. Wow, what's this? It's all vegetables. The seasoning is bland too, and it tastes awful. I guess this is what happens when you marry a farmer's daughter. Poor Ken.
Nancy started tasting the soup on her own.
The seasoning's too light. Then let's add more spices. It'll taste better that way.
With that, she started pouring a lot of salt into the pot. I was too shocked to move.
Mom, that's too much spices. It's too salty to eat now.
Oh dear, sorry about that. Looks like it needs to be made again. Ken will be home soon, so you need to be quick.
Well, you're home all day anyway, so you can remake it right away. Looks like you've got time on your hands.
That's true. Well, shall we head home then?
Yay, what's for dinner tonight?
How about vegetable soup?
That's awesome.
They left the house laughing loudly. I just stared blankly at the soup that had turned almost black from too much spices. Thinking about having to make it all over again made my body feel heavy. I felt guilty using vegetables from our farm and not being able to do justice to them. I'm working too, so it's not like I have spare time. I managed to squeeze in household chores between remote work. It seems they don't understand that. 30 minutes later, Ken came home from work. Dinner wasn't ready yet. "Welcome home," I said, apologizing honestly. "Sorry, your mom and sister were here earlier, and dinner's not ready yet."
Those two came again. It's all right. I think there's still some instant noodles left.
"I'm really sorry. I'll boil some water for you." Ken must have an idea of what Laura and Nancy are doing when they come over. However, he shows no sign of addressing it. He probably can't stand up to them. On the one hand, I understand him, but again, it's his family and I wish he would say something. That's honestly how I feel. I think Ken's kindness comes from his father, not his mother. That's my only complaint. Even when he's probably tired from work, he actively helps around the house, and we go out together on days off. I thought I should just put up with it. Then something happened that has helped me to keep going on. Our daughter Amy was born. With help from my parents, I managed to safely give birth. And although it's tough, she's growing up healthy. However, this triggered an increase in visits from Laura and Nancy.
Hello, Amy. How are you doing?
Ah, Grandma. I'm fine.
Good girl for answering properly. Here's a gift for a good girl like you.
What Laura offered was a rather expensive chocolate. I quickly stopped her. Amy is too young for chocolate, and please don't give her such expensive things. She can't eat it.
What? You're refusing a gift I brought specially. That's really mean. I won't bring anything again.
It's better if Amy doesn't have it than something happening to her.
Your own mother is the reason you can't have chocolate, Amy. Poofing. Kids should be allowed to do as they like.
That's a different matter. What if Amy gets sick?
You're so nitpicky. Let the kids have more freedom to grow. They'll end up stifled and close-minded, especially since she's already involved in farming or some weird whatever.
Maria, Mom, and Sis, stop it. Amy's listening.
Ken's voice made me startle. Amy, looking anxious, watched us arguing. I'm sorry, I said, and she went to the back room. Until now, I thought I just had to endure it, but things have changed. Continuing this way could negatively affect Amy. I decided to be careful so that they wouldn't interact with Amy as much as possible. I was managing in this way, but suddenly our life fell apart. Nancy had an accident and injured her leg. According to Laura, it was a solo accident. She needs rehab, so it seems she'll be hospitalized for about a month.
So they'll be taking $10,000, including the medical expenses.
What Laura was holding was the money I had saved up for buying farm equipment. It's the money I saved by working hard to buy equipment to become more efficient. It's money earned with hard work to help run the family farm. It's a problem if you use it without asking.
What do you mean? Are you saying the farm work at home is more important than my daughter? Even if we're not blood related, we're family. How can you say such a thing when Nancy is in such trouble?
Laura using family as a shield only when convenient really irked me.
Mom, what happened?
Maybe because I raised my voice, Amy came over.
Look, Amy, your mother is helping Aunt Nancy. Right, Maria?
Yes. I found myself nodding, unable to bear the pressure.
See you then, Amy.
Laura left with the money, looking pleased. I just sat down right there.
Mom, are you okay?
I'm fine. Sorry to worry you, I said, hugging Amy, who looked anxious. It was a lot of money, but I had no choice. It was for my sister-in-law. That was all I could tell myself. However, my mother-in-law's demands only escalated. Caring for her was tough, so she demanded I cook and do the laundry. She wanted everything her way. When I tried to say it was hard because of work, she would retort, "You're home anyway, aren't you? This shouldn't be a problem." I was worn down both physically and mentally. If it's that hard, should I help out? If you give me the hospital's location, I can visit her.
You don't need to do that. Nancy is my daughter, and I can't ask that much of you.
I wondered why she was willing to ask for money but saw that as a burden. Since the day she said Nancy had the accident, I actually haven't seen her even once.
Should I go then? Maybe I could sometimes stop by after work.
There's no need to worry, Ken. I'll take care of everything.
She refused outright. Eventually, Ken stopped bringing up Nancy.
Maybe we should just let my sister be. She might be tired. Mom's taking care of her, so it's fine. If anything were wrong, she would ask for help.
So, I decided not to pry any further. With Ken saying nothing, I, as his wife, couldn't push too hard. The stress with no outlet started to build up little by little. Then one day, Laura said Nancy had asked for something and left the house. Normally, either Ken or I would be called to carry things, but today she went alone. I was grateful for that as I cleaned the room. About an hour had passed. Ken's smartphone rang with a call from Laura, who was out shopping. Since Ken was busy in the garage, he didn't notice. I hesitated to answer it as it wasn't my phone, but Amy came over.
It's a call from Grandma. You better answer quick.
She pressed the call button. When I tried to say Ken was away, an unbelievable conversation came through. I quickly opened my smartphone and started the voice recorder app. Once the recording was done, I grabbed Amy's hand and rushed back to my parents' house. Luckily, they lived nearby. My parents were surprised by the sudden visit, but there was no time to explain. After calling the police, I rushed back home. When I got home, Laura had returned from shopping.
Maria, what's going on? You're all flustered. Where's Amy? I can see her.
You're so restless. Women fussy like yourself are disliked, you know.
Laura sipped her tea nonchalantly. Without saying anything, I started playing the recorded conversation.
Oh, the line should be connected, but I can't hear anything. Hello, hello.
Mom, you said we were out of toilet paper, right? Is this the brand we always use?
Thank you. That's the right one. I was just calling Ken, but no one's picking up.
Maybe Amy accidentally pressed it. That girl is quite fussy, you know.
It's certainly possible. I wonder if Amy will end up like Maria someday.
I'd hate that. To have two country bumpkins like that would be too much. Maybe we should make her fall a bit. Let's say Maria or Ken are taking her to the park to play. Then we'll get her on the slides or swings.
Imagine Maria's despair. That would be funny.
They ended the call laughing. Hearing this, both Laura and Ken turned pale.
What does this mean? You said she was hospitalized. What on earth did we just hear?
It must be a ghost. I'm so worried about Nancy that I'm hearing things. I was just talking to myself. It's terrible to confront me when I'm like this.
You talk about hurting Amy, even when you're just hearing things? If that's true, you're the one who needs to go to the hospital.
How terrible. Ken, say something.
Mom, where is Nancy?
Ken asked with an intensity I had never seen before. Laura remained silent in response to his question.
If you won't speak, I'll have our home searched. If we find my sister there.
Please believe me, Ken. Nancy really is hospitalized. I just didn't tell you the location because I didn't want to bother you.
Are you sure about this? Because I've already reported this to the police.
Reported.
Laura screamed louder than she had all day. Of course, I can just do nothing when my daughter could be harmed. The police said they can't intervene in family matters, but this isn't something that can be dismissed as a joke later. At my words, Ken was startled.
So that's why you evacuated Amy. Thank you. First, we need to find my sister.
Wait, Ken. This audio is fake. Maria made it to trap us.
As if. Enough already. I saw the look in Maria's eyes, the look of a mother wanting to protect her daughter. I believe in Maria. If you still won't tell me, I'll call every hospital nearby to check if my sister is there. If she's not found, I'm prepared to file a missing person report.
Ken, please.
Laura collapsed on the spot. It seemed the game was over. Minutes later, Nancy arrived at the house. Of course, she was not injured at all and was walking perfectly fine.
It's annoying how you meddle in every little thing. I was living a good life until now.
So you lied about being hospitalized and lived off that money.
What's wrong with that? We're family, after all. You should be happy to give me $10,000. Wouldn't you be happy if a family member is doing well? You're just stingy, that's all.
No, from this moment on, we're not family anymore. Mom, Nancy, please cut ties with us. I can't endure this anymore.
Ken, what are you saying? I agreed to your marriage to Maria only because I thought of your happiness. I never wanted you to marry someone like her. I thought you could do better, but even so,
Don't say anything more about Maria and Amy. Just leave now. I never want to deal with you again.
Mom, let's ask Amy too. She's you guys' daughter. Important to you, right? Then we should respect her opinion too, shouldn't we?
Exactly. She must be at Maria's parents' house now. I'm going to call them, so listen carefully.
With that, she started dialing and put it on speaker so everyone could hear.
Hello?
Hi, Amy. It's Grandma. I have something I want to ask you. Is that okay?
Amy remained silent, but Laura continued.
You'd be sad if Grandma was gone, right? Your mom is trying to exclude me. Please say something.
After a brief silence, Amy spoke.
I don't like Grandma because she makes Mom sad all the time. I don't like Aunt Nancy either because she says bad things about Mom.
Laura and Nancy were speechless. That's how it is, so please leave right now. If you don't, I will call the police again. The two left the house with their heads down. I went to pick up Amy immediately, relieved that the ordeal was over. Part of me was worried that she might not want to be separated from Grandma. From a child's perspective, it must be sad not having Grandma around. I had thought about what to do about that situation. But Amy was always keenly aware of Laura and Nancy's actions. Thus, we decided to cut ties with Laura and Nancy. I've told them that I would call the police immediately if they tried to come near. Of course, I intend to get back the money I gave for Nancy's medical expenses. I heard later that Nancy apparently lost her job due to poor work attitude and was often scolded by her boss. I heard that her boss scolded her almost every day for her poor work attitude. From her daily behavior, you could kind of tell. Probably due to the loss of income, they needed money. Now they are living off Laura's pension. But Laura is too old to work, and with Nancy's pool attitude, it seems she can't keep a job. I even saw them stockpiling bean sprouts at the supermarket recently. They both seemed a bit worn out, but they brought it upon themselves. After this incident, my parents were really worried. Since we're farmers and I didn't want to bother them, I hadn't discussed much with them since getting married. When Laura called, my mom intended to give her a piece of her mind, but Amy answered the phone before her. She had wanted to tell Grandma herself. My parents said they'd always be there to support us, so from now on, I plan to talk things through with them properly. The biggest concern had been how Amy would cope without Laura and Nancy, but she seems to be thriving, possibly relieved of stress she didn't even know she was under. With both of them gone and given that work has been busy, we haven't gone out much, and so we plan to go to an amusement park as a family on our next day off.